what's going on, guys? This is Havoc here, and we are on 10-minute tutorials, blood magic style. Yeah! So we're going to be going over, as you saw in the description, we're going to be covering altars, tiers, and orbs. So the altar, well, that's how we start with blood magic, right? It makes sense. Boom! We got a little altar right here. The recipe is pretty simple. It is 4 stone, 1 cobble, 2 gold ingots, and a diamond ingot. That gives us our blood altar. As you can see, I'm right-clicking the heck out of this thing, and nothing's happening. It is a GUI-less item, which means there is no interface. There is no interaction with it that tells you like what's going on, because you need to make items to do stuff like that. The next item you're going to want to make is a sacrificial knife. Sacrificial knife, also very simple. It's 5 glass, 1 gold, 1 iron ingot, and bam! We have our sacrificial knife. It looks kind of cool. It definitely looks like it needs to be soaked in blood, right? So what we're going to do is, whoop, little right click, and you'll see blood has appeared in our blood altar. You know what? I don't want to deal with mobs, so we're going to do day. So blood appears in the altar, and if I keep right clicking, you'll see that it is slowly filling up more and more. But how much blood is in there, you ask? Well, we don't know, because we have to make our next couple items. Now, our next item that we want to make is the divination sigil. This will actually tell us how much blood is in the system. So we've got 7 glass and a blank slate and an orb. Well, we don't have these yet. I guess we'll probably have to make them, right? So as you can see right here, the weak blood orb is our tier 1 blood orb. It is made by putting a diamond in a tier 1 altar with 2,000 life points. Now, you don't know this, but you will know because I'm telling you right now, an altar holds up to 10,000 life essence. So if I right click on it, you'll actually see that the current essence is 9,600, and it is a tier 1 altar, and the capacity is 10,000. But you don't know this before you get the sigil, and you have to get the sigil by having a weak blood orb and also having a blank slate. And we're going to make a blank slate real quick so you can kind of see how this thing works. So we're going to put 1 piece of stone in here, and this is a piece of stone. You'll see the particles so you know it's working, and this is basically cooking on it. I guess there's no other words I use for it. It's cooking. It's cooking, and these are the steam particles coming off as it cooks. But it's going to take 1,000 life essence, and it's going to make this divination sigil. Or sorry, not divination sigil, but the blank slate. Then we take the blank slate along with our orb, and don't worry, you guys get the orb back, and that will actually give us our divination sigil. But basically what we're going to do is if you throw a diamond in here and let it soak long enough, and it's like, BAM! There's our weak blood orb. So we've got our weak blood orb. If we do a little right click up in the air, you see that it now says current owner is Slider Havoc. And if I let this guy sit in here, you'll see the pinkish colored particles coming off. This basically means it is storing essence in my current system. So as I showed you before, and you'll see the numbers now going down, 77, 76, 66. It is actually putting some of the essence that's in this altar and putting it into my current network. So if I right click, you'll see that I've got 1630, 1650. So it's going up. This is what's in my network. This is what I'm going to use when I'm doing stuff for blood magic. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put that guy back because we're done with tier 1. Tier 1 could grow out really quickly, and we want to move on to at least tier 2. Now, tier 2 is going to take some blood runes on the ground here. Blood runes are made with 6 stone, 2 of those blank slates we just made, and your blood orb. Right, and that's going to give us these runes right here. And what we're going to need is 8 runes. As you see, I'm laying them down just like this, just wrapped around. The block under doesn't matter. It doesn't even actually have to have a block there. But we put that down there, and now you can see that if I right click, it says our current altar tier is 2, right? So we've got a tier 2 altar. Now the essence doesn't change and the capacity doesn't change, and the capacity will never change until we put some new runes down that changes them up. And we'll go over those in another 10-minute tutorial specifically covering runes and what they do, how they help you, and all that fun stuff. All right, so we've got our tier 2 altar. Our tier 2 orb is in our apprentice orb, and you can see it's a tier 2 altar with 5,000 life points, and that will give us our apprentice orb. Oh, and that's an emerald, sorry. So an emerald with 5,000 life points in tier 2, it's going to give us an apprentice orb, right? So we've got our tier 2. Now we want to move on to tier 3. Now tier 3, we're going to actually go out, skip a block, and go a block down. So you see, here's our tier 2 runes. We're going to skip over this one to this row right here. We're going to go 1 down, and we're going to go ahead and fill 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, and 5 here. So you know you've done it right if you have 5 all spaced out with 1 just the corner block available, and Yes, that's our tier 3 setup, right? But if you also see, I've also got 2 pieces of dirt sticking on the ground here with some glowstone on it. And you'll see it's in each and every corner. Well, let's go ahead and make our 2 there. And we'll put our glowstone on it. And that completes our tier 3 altar. Now, if I right click, you'll see that we are currently a tier 3 altar. Once again, the capacity doesn't change, but we have moved up to a tier 3 altar, and we can make our tier 3 orb, which is our magician's blood orb. That is a gold block in a tier 3 altar with 25,000 life essence. This is where the challenge really starts to kind of kick in, because you can see our capacity is only 10,000, but we need 25,000 to get that magician's blood orb. Starts making you wonder how you're going to do this, but we'll cover that in another tutorial. Like I said, we're just going over altars, tiers, and orbs today. All right. So we've got our tier 3. Now we want to move on to our tier 4. Now tier 4, same thing. We're going to move 1 block over and then 1 block down. Okay, and this time we're going to have a 7 by 7 by 7. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 runes are laid out down there. 7 runes laid out there. All 4 sides have 7 runes. You'll know because you'll have an extra block here from your corner. And then this is going to come up. And you're going to see that we've got a large bloodstone brick right here. Now, it sits 1 higher than the glowstone. And as you can see, we don't have one on this side. So let's go ahead and build this one up. So I'm going to put my dirt level, or whatever material you want. It doesn't have to be dirt. I just happen to be using dirt right now because this is where I'm working at. And we're going to go ahead and grab this large bloodstone block. Oops. And we're going to put it on there. And now, if all's done right with our 7 on each side, our thing up to 1 over the glowstone, we should now read a tier 4 altar, which we do. So we're doing good things here, guys. We're doing good things. We've got our tier 4 altar. Now, tier 4 blood orb is a master's blood orb, and that is made with a weak blood shard. Oops, sorry. And 40,000 life essence in the altar. So you can see it's going to progress. And these runes right here, these blood runes that we did earlier, there are variations of them, and that's how we're going to start increasing. But this is just the design for the altars right now. Now, when we start moving to these big guys, it starts becoming a little bit different on the shape. So as we're going to move to our tier 5 altar, we're no longer just going 1 over and 1 down. We're now going to go over 2 or 3 out if you want. But we're going to go over 2 and down here and 1 down. Now this down here, as you see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 blocks. And if we run around, we'll see that there's actually 13 runes on each side. So you're going to start realizing it's going to be expensive to start making some of this stuff. Because that is what, 13 times 4, right? Which is 52 blocks, 52 runes. That's a lot of blood runes. Not to mention, if you noticed, as I was running over it, there are beacons in the corner. That is your actual corner item. Now, the beacons don't need to be on a pillar. They can be just down here. And if you see, it's actually kind of perfect when you make these, because you can actually put your little pyramid under here if we wanted to do it, because all the dirt is actually, you know, blocks that don't really matter, like they don't have to be there. But if I go ahead and grab some gold here, as you can see, we can actually put our, get that one, yes, our gold blocks here. And now if I do a little right click, oh, see? We've got beacons going, and you can set it for speed, for haste, you know, whatever you want. So you can just choose whichever one you want. You get your regen, and then as you see, well, I'm not in game mode, but here, let me put myself in survival, and I run around my altar here. I'll actually get my boost from these guys. So that's pretty cool, right? Right, I think so. So cool. So it's a good incorporation there. Actually, I want to be increased. Plus, there we go. So that is our tier 5. And just to make sure, we're going to come over here, we're going to right click, and you'll see that I'm now at a tier 5 altar. So we're getting close, guys. We're getting close. We've got about 15 seconds left, so let's go over to tier 6. So tier 5, just like the other one, 3 over or 2 over and 1 down, however you want to think about it. It's going to be the same thing for this next tier here. So it's going to be 2 over, and then we're going to go 1 down from the previous layer. And then over in our corner block, what we need to do is we need a block that is 1 higher than the tier 4. right? So our block is right there. We need this crystal cluster. Now the crystal cluster is not going to be easy to come by, but it is doable once you complete the demonic invention or the convocation of the damned. You're going to be able to get this crystal clusters, because these crystal clusters are made with life shards and soul shards, which you can't get until you get the convocation of the damned. But as you can see, like I said, and then these sides are 19 runes with space, the solid, and the space. 19 runes, space, the pillar, and a space. And the spaces, it doesn't matter if there's anything here or not. It's just, that's how I design mine. It doesn't matter what block's there. It doesn't matter if you have another rune there. It's not going to mess anything up. We're going to come over here, and you're going to see that I'm still a tier 6 altar, right? So we're good to go. So guys, we did go a minute over, but that is... sorry, one last thing. So we got our weak blood shard. For our tier 5, it's a demon blood shard and 75,000. And then for our tier 6... it is a 200,000 blood essence and a crystal cluster, and that'll give you your transcendent. So guys, I hope this helped. I hope you understand the build concept and how you get these altars built. And check out the rest of the tutorials that we have listed in the playlist and see if there's anything else specific you're looking for. But we're going to try to make small tutorials for specific items, for specific things. Hope this helped for you guys. My name's Slutter Havoc. I'm out of here. Peace.